Everyone's pitching in $1,000 for Dad's birthday. We all agreed. Are you in? And just like that, my heart sank. No one asked if I could afford it. No one asked if I wanted to be part of this party. They just expected it. Because I'm the child. Because I owe them something. But the man they want me to celebrate? He didn't come to my graduation. He's never said he's proud of me. And once he told his friend, right in front of me, that I was just average. And now, I'm supposed to throw down a full paycheck for some over-the-top dinner where I'll probably sit in the corner watching him toast my siblings while pretending I don't even exist. So I said no. Softly, respectfully. No drama. But that's when they turned it into drama. You're ungrateful. Dad sacrificed so much for you. You're embarrassing the family. But no one, not one of them, ever asked how I felt, or if I'd ever felt like I truly belonged. I didn't fight back. I didn't explain. I just did one thing. I disappeared from that party, and from that moment on, I never looked back. I'm the middle child, not the firstborn with all the expectations, not the baby with all the attention, just the one in the middle. I've always been the quiet one, the low-maintenance kid, the one who didn't make waves. I got decent grades, stayed out of trouble, and learned to solve my own problems. But in my family, silence doesn't mean peace. It means invisibility. My dad is traditional, old school. The kind of man who believes success comes in only one form: money, status, and obedience. If you went to med school or law school, he'd brag about you for the rest of his life. If you became a teacher or worked at a nonprofit, you were doing okay. If you didn't follow his path, you were a disappointment. End of story. My older brother is everything my dad ever wanted. Successful, outspoken, ruthlessly ambitious. He and Dad talk the same, act the same, even walk the same. Dad calls him my legacy. My younger sister? She's the baby. Smart, charismatic, a bit dramatic, but always forgiven. Dad melts when she asks for something. Even when she makes mistakes, he brushes them off like they're quirks. Then there's me. I went to community college, worked through my 20s, moved out early, and never asked for much. No big degrees, no big wins. Just a quiet life that I built on my own terms. I make enough to live decently, pay my bills, and help others when I can. But in my dad's eyes, that's not impressive. That's just existing. Family events always followed the same script. Dad would toast my brother's promotions, dote on my sister's potential, and then glance at me with a half smile, like he forgot I was there. If I ever brought up my work, he'd nod once and change the subject. It wasn't cruelty. It was something worse. Dismissal. Still, I showed up. Every holiday, every dinner, every birthday. I listened, smiled, gave gifts, tried to connect, because somewhere inside, I still wanted to matter. So when that message came, asking for $1,000 to celebrate a man who never celebrated me, it wasn't just about the money. It was about everything that came before it. The first moment I realized something was off wasn't even about the money. It was the way they assumed. They didn't ask if I could help with Dad's birthday. They didn't ask if I was okay with it. They simply dropped a number, $500 to $1,000, into a group text and said, "Everyone's already agreed. What about you?" That message hit harder than they knew, because that party wasn't about honoring Dad. It was about showing off. A fancy restaurant, live band, decorations, custom cake, all for a man who never once remembered my birthday without a calendar reminder. I reread the message 3 times, hoping I'd misunderstood. But no, it was clear. They didn't care if I could afford it. They didn't care what I thought. They just assumed I owed it. And that stung in a way I can't fully explain, because I'd spent years, trying to be part of this family. Showing up, helping out, paying my share, never asking for anything in return. But suddenly my value to them was reduced to a dollar amount. If I paid, I was loyal. If I didn't, I was selfish. So I responded honestly, "Hey, I'd love to contribute something, but $1,000 is more than I can manage right now." I thought that was fair. I thought they'd understand. But the silence that followed was loud. No one replied for hours. Then came the guilt tripping. First, my sister. Come on, it's just once. You know how much this means to Dad. Then my brother. We all have expenses, but we still put family first. And finally, the one that broke me, Dad himself. He called me. No, hi, how are you? No, thanks for even considering. Just this. So, you're not pitching in after everything I've done for you? I was stunned. Everything he's done for me, I wanted to ask. Was he talking about the time he missed my graduation? Or when he forgot to show up for my apartment move-in day? Or when he brushed off my promotion as nothing big? But I didn't say those things. I stayed quiet, because I've been taught my whole life to not make things worse. So I said, I'm sorry, I just can't swing that amount right now. His reply, right, of course you can't, same as always. And he hung up. No goodbye. No understanding. Just that. That phone call stayed with me for days. I replayed it over and over in my head, wondering if I was being selfish, wondering if they were right. But every time I thought about it, one thing kept coming back. Why was I the only one expected to give what I didn't have, while still being treated like I didn't matter? That's when I knew. This wasn't about money. This was about respect. And I had finally run out of excuses to keep accepting so little of it. After that call with Dad, I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd let it go. Maybe they'd realize how uncomfortable this whole situation had become. Maybe someone would reach out with kindness, or even just silence. But I was wrong. The next morning, I woke up to a new message in the family group chat from my brother. It read, "Some people really don't understand what it means to put family first. No names, no direct shots, but we all knew who he meant." Then my sister chimed in. "It's always the ones who contribute the least that feel most entitled." Entitled? Me? I was the one who showed up every holiday. I was the one who babysat her kids last minute without ever asking for a favor back. I was the one who paid for Dad's medicine 2 months ago when his card got declined at the pharmacy, without telling anyone. But suddenly, because I didn't fork over $1,000 for a dinner I didn't plan, didn't ask for, and barely felt welcome at, I was selfish? It didn't stop there. A cousin I hadn't spoken to in years joined the chat to say, "Wow, I guess money really does show who actually cares." Another message followed, this time from my aunt. "Your father's getting older. You'll regret this when he's gone." They turned it into a morality war. I wasn't just someone who declined to contribute. I was now the ungrateful child, the disappointment, the one who broke tradition, the problem. I could feel my blood boiling. I had spent my entire life walking on eggshells around this family, keeping my head down, staying polite, never rocking the boat. I thought being quiet meant being strong. But now, my silence was being used as a weapon against me. I started typing a response. I wrote out all the things I had held in for years. The favoritism, the dismissals, the missed milestones, the constant comparison. The time Dad told my brother, "At least you're not average like your sibling." The time my birthday dinner got canceled because my sister had a rough week. I had it all typed out. It felt like fire under my fingertips. But then, I deleted it. Because deep down, I knew something. They didn't want to hear the truth. They just wanted me to play my role again. The quiet one. The easy one. The one who paid without asking, showed up without question, and smiled without complaining. And I'd done that long enough. So I made a different choice. I left the group chat. No explanation, no drama, just silence. And in that silence, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. Because sometimes, the only way to stop being the scapegoat is to stop standing in the middle of the fire. Leaving that group chat was the cleanest break I'd ever made. But it didn't end there. A few days after I went silent, my sister sent me a direct message. No, hi, no, how are you, just, "So, are you still coming to Dad's birthday or not?" I stared at the screen for a long time. They had dragged me through the mud, insulted me, turned the entire family against me. And now they still expected me to show up? I didn't reply, but that was the moment I knew I was done playing this role. Over the next week, I quietly began making changes. First, I called the pharmacy and updated my dad's prescription billing. I had been covering part of it for nearly 6 months without saying a word. I told them to remove my name from the file. Then, I went through my Venmo and PayPal history. I'd lent my brother over $1,800 last year when he claimed he was short on rent. I requested it back, every cent, with a polite message that said, "Since you said we all have to put family first, I'm sure you'll understand." He never responded. But I didn't cancel the request either. A few days later, I got a call from my mom. I hadn't heard from her during the whole fiasco. I thought maybe she was going to play mediator. Instead, she opened with, "Your father's very hurt. You know how proud he is. He just wanted a nice party." I kept my voice calm. "And he wanted me to help pay for it. After never once helping me with college. After missing most of my milestones." She sighed. "This isn't about the past. This is about being there for him now." That was it. That line. Because for them, it's never about the past. It's never about what was said or what was done. It's always about what they want now, what they expect, and I'm done giving. So I told her calmly, "Tell Dad I wish him a happy birthday, but I won't be coming, and I won't be paying, and going forward, I'm going to have boundaries." There was silence on the other end. Then she hung up. The party happened without me. They posted pictures on Facebook, long tables, champagne, cake, speeches, everyone dressed up. I wasn't tagged in a single one, but a week later, just 1 week, my phone rang again. This time, it was my sister. "Hey, sorry to bother, but Dad's card got declined at the hospital. Something about his insurance not covering the full amount." I already knew. I had pulled my support. I wasn't paying his bills anymore. She went on, "Could you just help out for now, just until we figure things out?" I waited a second, then said, "Sorry, I thought you said I don't put family first." And I hung up. That was months ago. Since then, I've kept my distance. No calls, no money, no guilt. And for the first time in my life, I feel free. Because walking away wasn't about revenge. It was about respect. It was about teaching people that if they can't treat you like family, then they don't get to spend you like one. The silence that followed was almost eerie. For years, I'd been the one checking in, showing up, covering for forgotten bills, offering help without being asked. But once I stopped, no one knew what to do with it. At first, I thought they'd explode again. More insults, more guilt trips. But instead, they went quiet. Too quiet. "No, we're sorry. No, let's talk." Just absence. It was funny. The family that once couldn't stop messaging me about how I was letting everyone down suddenly pretended I didn't exist at all. They posted family photos like I was never part of them. Birthdays came and went, mine included, and not a single call or message. It should have hurt, but honestly, it felt like clarity. Then came the shift. About a month after the party, my sister texted me again, short, almost awkward. "Hey, do you know how to check Dad's insurance stuff? It's all messed up." I didn't reply. 2 days later, another text. "Just asking. You used to help with this before." And finally, "Can we please talk? I think we messed up." That was the first sign of regret, not from everyone, but from her. My sister was the only one who seemed to realize this wasn't about money anymore. This was about how they'd treated me for years and how I finally decided to stop accepting it. As for my dad, he never reached out. Not once. Not even after the hospital incident. Not after the insurance. Not after the money stopped showing up. He chose pride over reconciliation, and that told me everything I needed to know. My brother, same story. The one who called me selfish and entitled now just ignored me. No apology, no explanation. But I heard from a cousin weeks later that he was very uncomfortable when someone brought up family loyalty at a barbecue. Apparently, he changed the subject. It's strange how silence can be louder than shouting. No one ever said, "We're sorry." But their actions, their hesitation, their quiet backpedaling, the nervous attempts to reach out, spoke volumes. They missed the version of me who gave without asking, who stayed quiet, who played the role. They didn't know what to do with the version who finally said, "Enough." And honestly, that's not my problem anymore. Because I didn't ask for revenge, I just asked for respect. And when they refused to give it, I learned how powerful it is to take it back for myself. Looking back now, I don't feel angry, I don't feel bitter, I just feel clear. For the longest time, I thought that if I kept showing up, kept giving, kept forgiving, they'd finally see me, they'd finally value me. That someday I'd earn a seat at the table, not just physically, but emotionally. But here's what I learned. You can't force people to love you the way you deserve. You can't pay your way into respect. And most importantly, you don't owe anyone access to your peace, not even if they share your last name. Walking away wasn't easy. It hurt. It still hurts sometimes when I see old family photos or remember childhood memories that used to mean something. But it hurts less than constantly begging to be seen. These days, I celebrate the quiet. I celebrate the boundaries. And I celebrate the version of me that finally said, "I deserve better." Because I do. And if you're listening to this right now, maybe you do too. What about you? Have you ever had to walk away from your own family just to protect your peace? Or do you think I should have just stayed quiet and kept giving for the sake of keeping the family together? Let me know in the comments below. Your story might be the one someone else needs to hear today.